The Edmonton Oilers advanced to the second round of the playoffs behind some amazing play by Leon Draisaitl on a lethal power play. Brett Holden of Locked On Oilers is here to talk about their prospects for advancing and how the Oilers got it done in round one. All that and more on today's Locked On NHL podcast.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, everybody, to the Monday edition of the Locked On NHL podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I want to thank you all for making Locked On NHL your first listen every day. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and on your favorite podcatcher to catch the latest episodes as they drop. Gil Martin here. My pleasure to welcome back to the show the host of Locked On Oilers and a co-host here on Locked On NHL during the week as well, Brett Holden. And Brett, good times in Edmonton right now. I don't know if I've ever seen, in recent years anyway, a power play as lethal as the Oilers were in round one against the Kings.
It was truly dominant. The funny thing is, heading into the playoffs, is everyone goes, oh, how effective will the power play be if heading into the playoffs? We all know playoffs are called different. There's not that many power plays in the playoffs. Well, as we've seen through all of these series, there's a lot of penalties called in the playoffs, and that has so far benefited the Edmonton Oilers. And it's funny, we talk about a lot how ever since Tyson Barrie was moved at the deadline, it has become Evan Bouchard's power play to quarterback. And since then, he has absolutely taken the reins and flew that sleigh all the way through on Christmas night for the Edmonton Oilers. It has been a seamless transition for the Oilers, and he has done immensely better in the offensive zone, defensive zone, moving the puck, being more physical. And it's the way the Edmonton Oilers have now constructed their defense with Mattias Ekholm. It's crazy how that can all lead back to the power play for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, we got to talk a little Leon Draisaitl. 6 games, 7 goals, 11 points, 3 of those 7 goals on the power play. What can't this guy do?
That's a great question. A lot of people would say play in his own end, but if you truly do watch him in his own end, he's very I watch a lot of soccer. I'm a big soccer guy. And Messi is a guy who's known for, especially early on in the games, he'll kind of sit and watch and examine how everything unfolds before it even unfolds. And that's kind of like Leon Draisaitl. He'll kind of sit back in a play, and it seems like he's out of it, not really paying a lot of attention. And then all of a sudden, he'll jump, make an interception, and it's a rush the other way for the Edmonton Oilers. That is a very underrated thing for Leon Draisaitl, and it has led to a lot of goals for the Edmonton Oilers, a lot of 3-on-1 rushes, a lot of times that the Edmonton Oilers have just found Leon Draisaitl in his office right next to the net. And it's funny, sometimes you see him sitting in that little spot and the puck gets to him, and as soon as you know that puck gets, it is in the back of the net, you start celebrating before he's even shot the puck. It is automatic. It is a lot of people have not given him the flowers that he truly does deserve. Everybody says he's a great NHLer, but he is top 5, if not top 3, if not top 2 right now.
Yeah, very impressive. Look, we've talked a little Evan Bouchard, a little Connor McDavid, and a lot of Leon Draisaitl. Give me an unsung hero, a guy who's not making headlines, but really was a difference maker so far in round one.
There's a lot of people that now this can be tossed around to. I'm gonna go with the guy who scored a couple of goals in one game, but since then it seems like he's quiet. But he does the things off the score sheet right, and that's Nick Bjugstad. Scored those 2 goals in Game 5 for the Edmonton Oilers, looked absolutely unbelievable on that second line, ended up getting a promotion. Again, was one of those subtle trade deadline acquisitions that the Edmonton Oilers made, and he has been a fantastic addition for the Oilers, winning faceoffs in key moments in his own end, getting, obviously, when you win a faceoff, you get possession, so getting possession in key moments of the game, playing again on that shorthanded team that has become drastically better since the trade deadline, and sometimes on this series or in this series as well against the LA Kings. He has revolutionized the way the Edmonton Oilers have played in their bottom six in their own end. And then again, he ended up getting promoted in game 3, playing on the second line with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman and Vander Kane at times too. And they went out and proved why he should have been promoted. So I'd say Nick Bjugstad. There's a couple others that can be tossed in there, like a Klim Kostin, who scored a bunch of key goals for the Oilers in this series as well. You can toss a whole bunch of them really in there. That has been the key for the Oilers too, is just how drastic all these players have been playing in this series.
You know, when you talk about the Edmonton Oilers, goaltending is always a concern. They got through round 1 okay with a little couple of hiccups here and there. What do you foresee in round 2? How do they handle the goaltending situation?
I think Stuart Skinner will be fine. Stuart Skinner did not play the way that he did down the stretch for the Edmonton Oilers, and how good he really, again, an all-star and a guy who may win the Calder Trophy this year for the Edmonton Oilers. He has been stolen the job from Jack Campbell for the Edmonton Oilers while it was up for grabs, and he played some of the best hockey in the NHL in the last month of the season. So he's going to be fine. But it's just a matter of him finding his game, and it's all on him, really. Again, I think he'll be fine. There's not much that you can really say because he's looked all right in the games. He makes the first save, but then it's the second save that's really been the issue for him. Sometimes it seems like he's almost scared after the first save, or maybe he makes a first save and then he sees what's happening and then he reacts. Or the puck comes out from behind the net, he sees what's going on and then he reacts. Sometimes it looks like he's a little scared, but still he's going to be fine. I have trust in Stu.
All right. So what are the keys in round 2 for the Oilers to get to the Western Conference Final?
The first thing will be discipline. Last series, they got very, very into their own head. Some of the calls were very suspect for sure. And at times, even Leon Draisaitl said, we don't know what the standard is. So that's fair. But still, you can't let the game get into the hands of the referees, and that starts with discipline. So that's going to be the first one. The second one will be the goaltending for the Edmonton Oilers. As we mentioned, it has to be better. And those key saves, like we saw in Game 4 by Jack Campbell on the breakaway that probably saved their season. If they can get timely saves and the Oilers can convert those big saves into goals, they're going to be just fine. So the second one will be goaltending, which obviously also turns into offense. And the third thing for the Edmonton Oilers is get Connor McDavid going. Obviously, Leon Draisaitl is on his game. He's one of the best playoff performers, as we can see by the numbers, who's the second best points per game player in playoff history. Not Yager, not Lemieux. You can go on. It is Leon Draisaitl behind Wayne Gretzky. So obviously, Leon Draisaitl is fine. If they can get Connor McDavid going next to Leon Draisaitl, I feel bad for the Vegas Golden Knights. I feel bad for the Dallas Stars. I feel bad for whoever's going to win this absolutely insane Game 7 between the Kraken and the Avalanche. It is going to be insane.
All right. Well, Brett, why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners where they could find the podcast and where they could find you on social media?
You can find me personally at The Real Holden 40. That's on everything. I'm talking about Twitter. I'm talking about Instagram. I think my Tinder used to be that, but I think I had to change it. But you don't care about me. You care about the Oilers. And you can find Locked On Oilers at Locked On Oilers on Twitter, just how it sounds. And you can find us on YouTube as well. We're going at Locked On Oilers too. We're going under a little bit of a change. So we're going to have a whole bunch of new jerseys that we didn't have before. So there's a little hint.
All right, something to look forward to. Brett, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. As always, appreciate you, Gil.
Today's episode is brought to you by a product I literally use every day, AG1 by Athletic Greens. Maybe you're like me, you want to be healthy and eat well, but it's easier said than done. That's no longer the case with AG1. With just one delicious scoop of AG1 in a glass of water each day, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging, all these things. And it costs less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. That's athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.